This week's project is all about the bees and the barn. A lot of this bee equipment was given to us by our precious Bob Bryson, Bob and Donna, whom you've met before. We did a video with them last year to introduce you guys to them. They are very, very special people to us. They are like our spiritual grandparents, and they have meant so much to our family, and we just love them so very much. Well, earlier this year, Bob passed away. He fought and battled cancer and some other issues for a long time, but his faith was so strong, and he's so close to God, and I know where he's at right now. I know he is with Jesus, and he is praising and worshiping the Lord, and I know that he's completely healed and happy. We do miss him though. We miss him very much. Him and Mama Donna are so very precious and special to us, and he is greatly missed. But every time I get into this bee equipment or we inspect the bees, I always think about Bob, because he loved taking care of his honeybees so much, and he passed on just about all of his beekeeping equipment. He passed on to us, and he was just so special to us, and Mama Donna's so special to us, and we just love them so much, and we're just so grateful for what they've meant to our family and what they mean to our family. But this equipment was given to us by Bob and by a friend of Jean's who had to relocate, and he called us and gave us a lot of his bee equipment. I did a little video about that too. It's called Honeybees and Blessings. Y'all go check that out, about how God has just tremendously blessed us. Every time we need something, he just blesses us with it. And y'all go check out that video if you need a little encouragement. Our friends Jack and Donna, whom you guys have met before on some other videos, they're coming down this weekend to help us get this barn painted. And I'm really excited to finally get this project done. This has been on our list for a while, and I'm happy to get this done. Now, I have gone back and forth on, I don't even know how many different paint samples and colors, trying to decide exactly what color I want to paint this barn. And we finally made a decision. Jean went and picked up the paint yesterday. But it's like a really dark gray, like almost a charcoal gray. And I think that's really going to be pretty with some of the wood accents with it. And this barn is not like the prettiest barn in the world. Pretty much every single thing on our barn has been recycled and reclaimed materials. So I love our barn, but I don't like how many different colors it is, because like we've got this color wood, we've got rusted tin, we've got a different color wood down here, 2 different colors of wood, we've got different colors of tin on the side, different kinds of tin on the side. Like I said, this is just a recycled, repurposed barn. And it is just a mixed match of all different kinds of materials. So, and I like the rough cut wood and the rusted tin. I like that. But I don't like that there's so many different materials here. So I think that painting it all one color is going to make it just look so much better. So we finally picked out the paint color. Gina went and got the paint, and our friends are coming down to help us paint it this weekend. So my project for this week has been cleaning up the barn. And a big part of cleaning up the barn is cleaning up and organizing the bee equipment, which is a job. I've decided to do something a little bit different this year. So whenever it's winter time, or not, it doesn't even have to be winter time. It can just be any time of the year where you store your frames. See, all of these are frames that go inside the beehives, the bee boxes. So when the frames have wax on them, like where the bees have made their wax and we've slung the honey off of them or whatever, and they're just frames with wax on them. Well, when you store these, they get wax moths, and wax moths will just destroy the whole entire honeycomb, the whole entire wax. They'll just slime it, destroy it, make it horrible. And then if you go to put those frames back in your boxes come spring, then the wax moths can just completely destroy your hives. I decided to take all of the frames out, put them in these plastic totes, put these moth crystals inside the totes with the frames, and then duct tape the lids around them. And this is how I'm going to store them this year. So I'm hoping that this is going to work really, really well. So this has been a pretty big project right here. And I've pulled all of my boxes out here that we have. And some of them need to be repainted. Like that one was brand new and never even got painted. Some of them need to be repainted a little bit. And they've all been repaired, so that's good to go. But they just need to be touched up on the paint a little bit. And then I'll put those up. I've got to finish prepping these frames and get those in storage bins. But fall is a really great time to get all of the bee equipment ready for spring, because then spring just comes up on you so quick. Like February, March comes up so fast, and before we know it, the bees are swarming and foraging, and we have to inspect the hives like every week, and it's just really, really busy. And that's at the same time that we're trying to put the garden in, and it's just, spring is just like, whew, a whirlwind, and I can't keep up with everything. And we definitely don't have time to be prepping equipment, preparing equipment, painting equipment, and all of that. It needs to be ready before spring. So fall is really a good time to get this done. So I'm trying to get this knocked out and get all of our bee equipment stored for the winter and prepped and ready for spring. So really, not only is my goal to get this place cleaned up and beautiful and ready for a wedding, but really I'm trying to set myself up for success for this next spring. This past year was just a whirlwind of craziness. Like, I felt like I was running from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, and not really doing a good job at anything, not really completing anything, not excelling at anything, but just kind of just trying to keep up and just chasing my tail and running around everywhere, doing a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here and there, and not really achieving anything and not really doing anything well. So I'm trying, like I said, not only is my goal to get this place cleaned up and looking nice for a wedding, but really I'm trying to set myself up for success come the spring and really be able to excel and achieve the goals that I have for this farm this spring. Well, I'm at a place on the bee equipment where I've got to go do my bee inspection to see if I need any of these frames and exactly what I need before I put everything up for the winter. So I need to come out here and check out my bee situation, see how they're doing. I want to check too and see how they're doing on their honey stores for the winter. I like to let them do all their fall foraging and keep And we don't harvest any honey, and we let them just keep it all for the winter, for their winter stores, so that they have food throughout the winter. So I want to check all that as well, and just see how they're doing right now. They're looking pretty active and pretty busy. A lot of activity going in and out of the hive. That's good news. I'm on my own today. Dean is working and Chase is doing something else. So I'm out here on my own, and it's kind of hard to video and look at the bees at the same time. I hope you guys can hear me. But what I'm doing, I'm not doing like full inspections. I'm just looking to see if I need to add some more boxes. I'm just trying to look and see how full they are, if I need to add any more boxes, because there's still a lot for them to forage on, to fall forage on, and I want them to be able to build up enough honey stores for their winter food supply. So over on the other side, I just finished it. Oh, this one is slap full. Yes, this one definitely needs a box. On the other side, I just finished inspecting it, and there's 6 boxes over there, and 4 of them need honey supers on them. So these bees have been busy, and so far all the hives are looking excellent. Uh-oh, I think I spoke too soon. This one is not looking excellent. I don't even see any bees in here. But this was like a last of the season swarm that we caught, and it wasn't very strong to begin with, so I wasn't that confident that it was going to do well anyway. Let's see what's happening here. Yeah, it's empty. I spoke too soon. That second box there is empty, and that was a swarm that we caught towards the end of the season, and it wasn't very strong anyway, so we really didn't think it was gonna, we really weren't that confident in it anyway. But that box is completely empty, so I'm looking at the frames that was in there and making sure and see if there's any kind of wax moss started in there or anything like that. And if there's not, I can just put that box on top of the other one down there that needs it. I don't see anything, but I do see where this wax has been eaten by something, but that could have been anything really. I'm gonna check a few of these other frames and just see if there's any kind of evidence of wax moth. I definitely don't want to put a problem into a good healthy hive. That is not what you want to do, for sure, for sure. All right, I just want to show you guys this real quick. This is what wax moth looks like. Now this is the hive box that I was just telling you that is empty, and this is evidence of wax moth right here. See this? All right, now look at this frame here. See, they do like this webbing of gunk on here. And what happens is the moth comes in and eats away the wax. They want the wax. And then they lay their little larvae, and it develops this little worm type thing. I don't know all the correct stuff about it, but right here. And that's the little larvae of the wax moth. And they lay their eggs right here on the woodware. You can kind of see it. It's pretty gross for real. But that's wax moths. And then see how they damage your wood on your frames? That is what wax moth damage looks like. See that? That's like the webbing. And they come in and they just destroy all of your wax. So that's what that looks like. So I'm going to take this empty deep box over to the barn and I'm going to clean it all up really good. Try to remove all those wax moth larvae and stuff off of it. And try to clean them up really good. And then I'll store them away with the wax moth crystals. Even the ones that I'm storing in the moth crystals, what I'll do when spring comes up, probably a few weeks before it starts getting, things start blooming and I know the bees are going to start getting active, I'll take them out of the storage bins, or I'll open up the storage bins, take them out and let them air out really good for a few weeks because of those mothball crystals. So I'll let them air out really good, and then I'll run those frames through the freezer for about 3 days before I actually put them into new hive boxes or before I use them. And that way I'm like super safe and sure that everything that could cause harm or trouble to my hives will be dead. So that's how we do the process here. But you know, sometimes you just can't help it. Sometimes if you have a weak hive, like this one was very weak, and we knew that when we caught it and put it here. We, you know, just took a chance. Maybe it'd survive, maybe it wouldn't. But we knew it was a weak hive. And when you have a weak hive, then it's more susceptible to more problems like wax moth damage or hive beetles or varroa mite, whatever. It's more susceptible to issues because there's not as many or as strong of bees to protect themselves and to rid themselves of the problem. If you have a really strong hive and wax moths move in, or even the hive beetles, a lot of times the bees will just take care of it themselves because they'll, you know, they defend their hive and they'll take care of it themselves. But when you got a really weak hive, that's when you end up with problems. So this one definitely was weak, so I'm removing it, getting it out of here, and moving on to the next one. So just to show you guys, this is what they're looking like. Almost every single one of them look like this. All but maybe one, and the one I lost. But I don't know if you can really see in there, but see how full they are? Every single frame is full of comb and honey. Every frame. I should have already had boxes on every one of these hives, like probably weeks and weeks ago. And they would have already made a lot more honey for their winter stores. But we're okay. I'm going to get them on here now, and they still have some time to make some more honey for their winter food. My battery's almost dead and my storage is full, so I'm just going to add all of these boxes to the hives right now. I've got so right now we have 11 hives because one of them died. I just had to remove it. So we've got 11 hives, and 8 of them needed new honey supers. So I've got 8 boxes here with frames in them, and I'm gonna go add them to those 8 hive boxes, and hopefully they can fill them up and have more food for the winter. Well, it's 3 weeks later. We ended up getting rained out, and Jack and Donna couldn't come help us paint. And then what came next? And then we went to Virginia for the conference, and so now we're just now getting to paint the barn. And Jean and I are just going to try to get it knocked out today.
I'm making my witch's brew.
Look at that color.
Look at Champ.
The finished product. I want to find like a really cool sign to go on the barn. I think if we add a few things to it, it'll make it look nice. Maybe like one of those cool metal signs that say Just Dig It Farms or something. Maybe could go right there. And then, I don't know. I'll decorate it up, jazz it up a little bit. But this is Jean's man cave, so I can't make it too frou-frou. So this barn is not like an animal barn or anything. It's just a barn to store all of our equipment, tools and stuff in. And I did not get to paint the beehives. I just stacked them back up in here. I haven't had time to paint them. I'm hoping I can get it done before winter, but I decided just to go ahead and put them up because I've got to move on with all of my other projects before the wedding. And that's all the frames that we've stored. Got them all done. So hopefully I can get back on this and get these painted after the wedding and before winter. All right, you guys, thanks for hanging out with us over the past 3 weeks of getting this barn and bee project done. Y'all have a blessed week, and I'll see you on the next video.